Welcome back to the Engineered Angler. Today we're in a paint booth and I'm going to be painting this. And this, if you don't recognize it, this is Threadfin Glide Bait 2.0, the second version. If you'll remember, the first one got ripped in half by an alligator. So I've made another one and we're going to paint it today. I'm going to use the exact same colors. If you remember last time, I posted an image of what I said was a thread fin. And somebody who knows more about bait fish than I do, which doesn't take much, pointed out correctly that it's actually, the picture was actually a bunker. But I don't fish with live bait almost ever, and so that's my excuse. So I'm going to paint this lure, and there's going to be a couple bonus paint jobs here. I'm also going to paint this, which is one of my springtail crankbaits. If you've been watching this channel, you'll know that I've made a few different versions of this particular type of jointed bait. Here's my little coconut crankbait, the one I made out of a coconut, and that was the last video. If you haven't seen that, check it out. And I've made a couple small design changes, and I'm going to do a little painting on this too, maybe add a strike eye and a little more black on top, and then another clear coat. So before we get to the painting, if you're enjoying these videos, subscribe. If you've got questions, certainly ask. I've been trying to get to everybody's questions. So do me a solid, subscribe and share it with your friends. I'm trying to grow the channel a little bit. I want to share with what kind of things I did a little different on this one than I did on the original. And on the original, if you remember, the hinge material, which is like a continuous fabric, was a weaved plastic strap that was pretty strong. It was pretty easy to weaken. If the weave got a little bit messed up, it would get really weak. So to improve the durability on this one, I made the hinge material out of Dacron sail cloth. This is an old sail from a sailboat I used to have. And it's Dacron, it's pretty much zero stretch, it's really tough, it's strong, it's mildew resistant and UV resistant. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a much more durable and long lasting hinge. So as long as I don't get another alligator going after it, I think we'll be alright. Okay, so we're going to start off with the gold that's kind of below everything. And this is a transparent sunrise by Createx. And I'm going to apply some just on top of the head and just over the eye, and then down here along the center of the body. Okay, so I'm going to use a little piece of foam as my kind of my guide for the line. And I like using this foam because if you look very close, the edge is very uneven. It isn't that hard edge you get from a piece of tape or a piece of paper. So I'm going to hold it there, and I'm going to apply as little as I can bear to apply here, and have just a little bit of a line there. And I'm going to do the same thing here. And there you go. Pretty subtle little line. The original one had a little eye. This one has a much bigger eye. If you'll remember, when I water tested this, one of the things I wished I had done was move this tie eye a little higher. So on this one, I actually moved it up about a 1/16 of an inch. On this one, I painted the bottom silver, and I want to do the same thing here. So let's get to it. So I'm going to use one of Createx Wicked colors. This is Wicked Aluminum, and this takes quite a few coats, so have patience. All right, that should have it. I'm now going to get a little bit of violet in here. So I'm going to leave it like that. I'll put some eyes on it, then I'll put a mid coat of polyacrylic clear, and then we'll put a real clear coat with UV clear resin. So I'm digging that. That looks pretty cool. When I put the eye on, it'll even look even cooler. So I want to have sort of an iridescence to the color, so I'm going to use some color shift paints, and they really work really well with black background. So I'm going to paint from this contour line up. I'm going to paint it black and then leave it white down at the bottom. All right, let's take it off of this lure holder and put it on my painting turnstile thingy here. All right, so I've got a little bit of a selection of iridescent color shift. So I'm thinking about using this violet to green color. This stuff is so weird, it goes on really strangely. So we'll see. All right, that looks pretty cool. Very cool. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a smaller scale pattern on the bottom and just do these edges. Well, actually, I'll do the whole thing and then I'll put some opaque colors on the very bottom. The fine mesh is on there, and I'm going to use a color called Borealis Green. It's sort of a bright green to sort of a pink color. Now, I'll have to say that it's much better to apply on top of a darker color, and in retrospect I would have put down maybe an orange on the belly just to put the stuff on and get a better effect. It has really shimmery look, like real scales. Actually a little more interesting looking than I thought it was going to be. Too bad I got a little bit of a damage right there. But I can play with that with a little bit of transparent yellow. I'm going to hit it right here and then hit it up here. All right, now I'm going to hit it with a little red right here on the chin. I'm going to put a strike eye on it and then hit it with black on top. Alright, they're ready for a coat of UV clear and about 45 minutes in the turner. Alright, I just got this out and put the fins on. Kind of like the way it's looking. I've got to put a nice heavy coat of resin on here, and in the meantime I'm going to give this guy another heavy coat as well, and these guys will be ready to fish tomorrow. I've got the fins on and a nice clear coat and some treble hooks on it, and this thing's ready to go to the lake. Along with it, the springtail, which I'm pretty happy with this color shift. It's pretty amazing. And then the big mackerel that I put a tail on a couple of videos ago, and has the big swing double hinge that folds it up for easy travel. Alright, so here's the quiver of experimental lures that we're taking out, and we're going to get some underwater shots, so stick around. Alright, so we're out here on Lake Santa Fe. I was happy to be able to get out here. So first things first, we're going to try this glide bait. And first I'm going to give you a shot of it from the surface, and then maybe I'll try to make a couple passes by the underwater camera. We'll see. It has a nice steady glide. Easily walk the dog. Here's what it looks like on a fast crank. Okay, so let's put this camera in the water and we'll do a pass with this thing, and then we'll get to the other lures. That was one. Let's go ahead and do something where the boat is moving and I can just track the lure behind it. Not this one. Let's go to the springtail. I hope we got good footage of that. So next up is gonna be the little coconut lure. So I'm holding off on the big lure for last. All right, time to move on to the big guy. So here it is. Now, I've actually tested this before and got some pretty good footage underwater. The big difference is this tail. I don't know what it's gonna do with this tail on, so let me put it on the rod. Okay, so before I get any underwater shots, let me show you what it looks like on top of the water. Looks like we have sharks in the water. So hopefully we get good footage and you guys get some satisfaction out of watching some underwater shots. If you want to see any other lure of mine tested, let me know and I'll get out here. Any excuse to get out here. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.